Okay, so I've realized that I owe everyone a video on rhythm updates. So about 2 months ago, I published some changes and they've been getting tested, if you will, by people. So let's go over those now. So what we're going to do is get all set here. All right. Because I'm in Revit. I'm in Revit 2024 and I have Dynamo open as well. In this case, we do have the packages folder open and pinned to the top. I pin it to the top with something called Windows Power Toys with always on top. And we can also see that I only have 2 packages in here right now. That's important because we're going to install Rhythm so that way you can see it happen live. So what we're going to do is go into Revit, into Dynamo. So what we're going to do is all we do is install Rhythm just like you would any other time. The kicker here, and I'll show you this in a moment, is Rhythm generates itself based on the Revit version that you have. So let's go to search for a package. Once that finally loads, we'll search for Rhythm. We'll click on install and we'll see that Rhythm is installing. In this case, we'll see the package appear in the packages folder. You'll see a folder called Rhythm, and that little white window that you saw pop up, that's Rhythm building itself when you load it. So if we go ahead and navigate in here into the bin folder, we will see that we have the latest versions loaded that apply to this. So if I were to right click on it actually and do properties, we will see if we go to details that it is Rhythm for Revit 2024. So the file stamp, the version's the actual release date, but on the file description, it tells you which version of Revit that we are loading. So something to keep in mind. So we'll go ahead and open that folder back up. We'll see that we have our bin folder. So this Rhythm Revit DLL doesn't exist until you install Rhythm. So if you jump into another version of Revit, you will see that exists as well. The kind of kicker here, and we'll show this in Revit once again. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is close out Revit. We'll skip through this in the video itself and we'll delete Rhythm and we're going to download it manually. All right, so now all that I've done at this point is reopen Revit with Rhythm uninstalled once again. So another way that users install packages pretty often is they go to dynamopackages.com and download them manually and extract them. I don't suggest to do that. That's not the best way to download packages. If you are trying to do deployments, you might do that, but still, it's not exactly the best way because it actually breaks a few things sometimes regarding file permissions. However, if you were to do it, we'll click on the latest version, it will download, and we'll take a look at it in our downloads folder. In this case, I'm going to right click and 7-zip to unzip it. 7-zip does better. That's just how it is. Don't ask me why, just use 7-zip. We'll extract that folder and we'll see that it's all named weird. So this one would actually be called Rhythm. Double clicking in, we can see that it has all the different files that we're used to seeing in a packages folder. We will see that we have Rhythm extension, View extension, Revit XML, and Core. There is no Revit DLL at this point. That's important to note. So what we'll do is we'll copy this folder into our packages folder. Now Rhythm is loaded, if you will, and we'll open Revit and we'll open Dynamo. So this should stay on top, and what we're going to see is Rhythm get built on the fly. So right when Dynamo barely shows up, you see a Rhythm Revit DLL show up. That's very important because the appropriate version of Rhythm is being loaded for whatever Revit version you're in. It just figures it out for you now. I got tired of trying to explain which one to install. So if you've ever installed Archilab, you have to be very specific. Rhythm doesn't care anymore. It just loads whatever version that you want on that first run. However, if you were to copy it with the Revit DLL from an old version up or down, it will warn you. So you will get a dialog that says, please install through the package manager. Just because that's the one simplest method to install packages, and two, that is the best way to have it work for it to be compatible. Installers and things like that can work, but it just adds more friction and difficulty to Dynamo. So the Dynamo team has not fixed this yet on the package manager. Archilab still gets published the way it does, where it has versions that you have to click on. Clockwork has different versions and all those kind of things. So I had to work this out and make it work with an extension and a view extension. So with that in mind, Rhythm does load correctly. We'll look at that and we'll see Rhythm in here and we will see a Revit category. Whether you know it or not, you've been beta testing this for close to 2 months now. So I haven't had any complaints like I showed on my last video in the last couple months. So it seems to be working, which is pretty awesome. In addition to that, if you load a package like I just did, manually downloading it, and you run your Graph and Dynamo player, it should reconcile as well. So test it, let me know. As always, Rhythm is open source, so if you are a package author that wants to look at how I'm doing this, you're welcome to look at the source code. I essentially build the Revit DLLs for Rhythm on the side, bundle those into a Revit-less package, which is Rhythm, and the extension takes care of the rest of the work. So this is a big update that I wanted to get out. I got it out, like I said, probably about 2 months ago now. Here we are in October, and it's just been crazy around here. Yeah, you might see it's a little messy behind me on all those things. A lot of 3D printing going on, a lot of other cleanups going on, reorganizing offices, all that good stuff. But Rhythm does work now. You should be good to go for Revit 2020 to Revit 2024. Give it a try. Let me know what you think below. And other than that, we'll see you in the next video.